Tonight, we bring you an exclusive conversation with a voice that transcends borders, a global advocate for justice, resilience, and cultural heritage. Don Dada, the South African icon whose music inspires movements, takes us deep into the heart of the struggles shaping our world. From the fight for land rights and youth opportunities in his homeland, to the urgent call for unity in the face of global crises, his words carry the weight of generations and hope for a better future. This is more than an interview. It's a journey into the soul of an artist determined to make change. Stay tuned to Reggae Hour podcast for an unforgettable dialogue that will move you to think, feel, and act.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Mr. E, boss of the Southside Bosses, and we are here on Reggae Hour on BOSS Radio. And you know we had to get our man back once again. Multi-platinum artist Don Dada is back in the building with us today. How you doing today, sir?
Everything's beautiful. Everything is as it should be. I'm so happy to be here, excited. My brother, Mr. E, Boss Radio. What more can I ask for? It's a good vibe.
Every time we get on, it's a good vibe, man. From the South Africa all the way to Texas, baby, it's always a good vibe. Oh man, I just want to say I hear that you are on a road for the Recording Academy. I just want to ask you, what is this road that we've been hearing about? What's going on with it?
I'm seeking to become a member of the society, get more involved, basically. Expand our horizons, moving South Africa into the international stages and platforms, and as well make more connections, meet new people working through the academy. So it's a beautiful process that we're going through right now. And I'm also feeling quite blessed and gifted to be one of the few people that have submitted and be going through for consideration.
And you're going in with some accolades already. Last time we talked to you, we talked about your multi-platinum song. Which song was that again?
Viva Mandela.
Bafuna kathiki sijonge kuwe ilizwe liyakhaya ilonke emadodeni talibunga
amandla awethu Orlando Soweto bayethe madiba Viva Mandela.
That was a big song right there, man. And just to touch on a big name alone, man, that right there, I can imagine how much attention they garner. I mean, we had it over here, Texas bumping, man, because you know we gotta keep it. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep it 100 for you. Now, with your new album that you just dropped, tell me about it. There, how is it going? Are you performing? Or are you? What kind of accomplishments are coming to you about that?
So we had just recently dropped the album The Heart and the Mind, a double genre project, one disc reggae, other disc hip hop, and it's doing pretty well. So a lot of performances going on. We've actually received 2 awards so far. One award for most influential artist, which we received in KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, which is on the coastal side of South Africa. I would say Zululand, if you guys know where that is. That's the vibe right there. And then right here in Joburg, I've also received an award from SAMU for my contribution to music, my long-term contribution to music. So that's also a beautiful thing, as well as receiving a nomination, 3rd-time nomination for the very best in the diaspora at the Zimbabwean Hip Hop Awards. So it's been garnering a lot of attention, not just in South Africa, but in the whole southern region of Africa. And it's just launched. So next year, we're still looking at summer awards. There's so many bigger platforms that are coming up. So it's quite a blessing to be getting this recognition at the early stage after release.
Yes, it is, boy. And to be touching two genres. How is it balancing two different genres on both of your hands and still coming out with immaculate music at the same time?
It's a question I get often, and it's something I don't even think about, to be honest. It's not something that I consciously approached and said, look, two different genres. It's so natural for me. I mean, reggae music is a music that I grew up listening to from a baby, from in the pram. My mom used to be playing. I got all these LPs over here, so I grew up on reggae music, and then hip hop was the music that I started to cut my teeth in within the industry. So for me to straddle that line, it's quite natural because it's just music that I grew up and been inspired by. But if I have to think about it, it makes me quite proud because with reggae music, we're talking about a music that's a global heritage recognized by UNESCO as being global culture. So it's beautiful to be representing reggae music on any level and platform. And then hip hop music is a music that the masses, the young kids love reggae hip hop music. It's music that connects you to the younger generation. So to be able to bring world heritage connected to the kids, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is, man. Like my idol Tupac used to say, "Why am I wasting time with all these grown ups when it's all these kids that need this knowledge out here?"
Yes,
That's a
sir.
beautiful thing. Now, hip hop and reggae has always been active in the social scene, and like you mentioned with the young right now, the young are actually taking the mantle and leading the charge. Like with your song "Viva Mandela," your music touch on all of this. Tell me what inspired you to make sure that you had music that touched on serious situations versus just trying to make dance music that just make you feel good.
Yeah. I love making commercial music, and I'm sure every artist loves to make commercial music. And the term commercial, especially in the entertainment industry, is very loose because when I say commercial, I mean music that plays in commercial spheres. So we talk about radio, television. For me, that's commercial. It's not really the content, but it's more of where it plays. When I look at content of music, I feel that a musician is always a reflection of their environment. And when you look at where I live in Southern Africa, there's so many things going on. I mean, we have one of the highest rates of unemployment in the world. Gender-based violence is continuously on the rise. Child-headed households is something that's quite prevalent as well in rural areas where you have a young kid that's 16, 17 years old, still waiting to write his high school exams, looking after his younger siblings. There's so many different things going on here. So I'd be amiss not to speak about all of these situations as an artist, because I also believe an artist is somebody that shows the world whatever the news can't. Whatever the news can't reflect and you don't see on BBC and CNN, you're going to hear it in music. And then I feel that it's my duty to report what's going on for those that can't report for themselves.
Yeah, you're so right about that. You're so right about that. I had to look up certain things that are happening out in your home in South Africa in order to be able to get a grasp on what life is like out there. Because what we heard over here is okay, Biden came to Africa, he visited South Africa, and he gave the whole continent $1 billion. But I do know that there's a battle for land rights in South Africa. What do you feel about that? And what message would you share with communities fighting against privatization and displacement?
So when you look at the battle for land rights in South Africa, it's quite a complicated situation because not only do we talk about the privatization of land, and also I think when I was looking at the stats, they were talking about the government owning 21% of the vast land that's out in South Africa.
Wow.
But you have to understand that South African land has always been dealt with in a cultural way, meaning through the chiefs, and it's a very complex method that they go through. So when you talk about taking away the land, I think they were saying 2,000 people have been displaced in Limpopo due to mining activities. It's a very sad thing because we're talking about people that have been there for hundreds and hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. I mean, we're talking about cultural land here. We're not just talking about some land that someone stumbled upon. So it's sad to see that people's cultures are not being recognized and respected, and also that our cultures are being removed in lieu for economical gain, because all of this is happening for mining rights, people looking for gold, diamonds, and so forth. Especially when you speak about how many people don't have housing in South Africa, how many people are also struggling on a day-to-day basis to find food. You're taking away the resources not only for them to live, but for them to make a living. So although in some aspects they have been economically funded, and the people have received a little bit of money from the government or from whoever has privatized it, it's never been taken into consideration the long-term effects that you're going to be having on these people. And I guess the only way that you're going to see these effects is after some time passes. But again, I'll say it's very sad in a country that's so large. If you go coast to coast and you look at how many different cultures are represented within this land, it's so sad that people are not respecting each other. Until today, you're still doing the same maneuvers that were happening in the apartheid regime, because this was the same thing. They would displace people from their homes and rebuild it and repurpose it into something else. So although the face of the government may have changed, it seems that the methods may have not.
Right. And you can see it all over the world right now. I mean, for hundreds of years, you've seen people get displaced, and they try to make up for it by giving them something that they consider the value, but the people who own the land don't consider its value. You know, cotton and paper, and they call it money, and it's like, no, this is my ancestors lived at. Matter of fact, my ancestors is buried right there. You can see their graves. Like, how do you see the parallel of these of the land issues in Africa and other parts of the world? How do you think that the fight for equitable land ownership can inspire global movements for justice and unity?
Well, I mean, it's a very scary situation, first of all, because it's kind of pitting the government against the people, and the people have to unite. We have to say, look, enough is enough. We need to make sure that everyone has a place to lay their head, that everyone has a little patch of land where they could perhaps sow their little garden and be able to feed themselves. If we're talking about food crises and so on, we need to ensure that people do not go hungry, and not only the elderly or people of our generation, but the younger people, because it's something that's going to affect us for years, hundreds and hundreds of years going forward. So how do we rectify these situations? How do we make sure that people that are previously disadvantaged don't continue to be disadvantaged and continue to be disenfranchised and continue to be victims of a system that claims to be standing behind them, but is actually pulling the rugs out from under their feet? So it's for people to come together in a peaceful manner, and I guess, you know, the only way to deal with it is through the courts. You've got to come together, put together your partitions, get a lawyer, and really go and take this and fight this on state means. Because if you don't fight it, you've already lost the battle. So we have to approach it in a way where we're going to go and stand against it and make our voices known that we're not with it.
Yes, and I love the fact that you said that we have to go through the courts to do this, because you know you could go and fight all day long, but people are going to end up losing their lives and end up losing the mission at the same time. You know, and all of it does is just makes it look like your side is demonized now. You know, said for being the aggressors, when the whole actuality of the mission is to stop somebody from stealing your property. But if you go through the courts, and then after that, you follow it up with running for office. That way you can make sure this never happens again. That's what a lot of our people fail to realize, is that we got to get out of this, or we got to wait for the government to do this, or we got representatives, so they're going to take care of us. No, if you're not representing yourself and your own interests, nobody is going to take care of your interests, because, well, there's nobody who has the same interests as you. So,
100% correct. 100% correct. I mean, as you were saying, for people to be restricted from the access to the graves of their ancestors it's quite a sad story. I mean, imagine being blocked at the doors to a cemetery and being told that you're no longer allowed to go in there because they're redeveloping it. They're going to build a mall on top of that. And you know that
right.
your family has been laying there for years and years and years. It's heartbreaking. But the only way to go against it, as you said, is to fight the same methods that are going against you. So you've got to go to the courts and try and fight those bills. And as you said, running for office is very important. If you believe that you can bring about change, you need to go and stand for it and stand for your people and represent them. Because as you said, only you will see the same value within that land. It's your ancestors, it isn't theirs. They're looking for gold and diamonds.
Exactly. And they already have techniques. They got uh plans put in place to make sure that they can stay in power. So we have to be able to see those plans that they have put in place, such as the youth in South Africa. They're facing staggering unemployment rates. How can music and culture be leveraged to empower the young people and open doors for economic opportunities?
Well, when I look at music and the entertainment industry at large, it's always been an important component, especially for the youth in combating unemployment, because number one, it's something that's always encouraged the entrepreneurial spirit. It's placed a lot of people into the realm of not only being workers, but being able to own your own company that's producing perhaps quality content or perhaps giving out quality services. So within Johannesburg, we have stuff such as the Roadies Association, where they take young children who are unemployed, disenfranchised, and interested in music. They take them through courses teaching them how to set up stages, how to mix, how to master, how to deal with large events and large artists. And then they send them on training courses into Europe as well so that they can learn from their counterparts in other regions of the world, bring back that information and help to build the South African industry. So we have the Roadies Association, they're doing that. We've got sound engineers that are working behind the scenes that are also developing artists. There's management that can be sought out to work behind artists. If you understand how to promote and to push artists, you could really go behind an artist and start managing them, looking for the events, handling their social media, so on and so forth. So there's many opportunities within music. When I look at it, and I always tell young people, it's not only the person in front of the microphone that makes music or makes the show happen. There's 100 different people. It's an ecosystem, and within that ecosystem, you can find yourself a great value and in a great position to launch off into other avenues. Because if you're doing music and you're doing large events for music, you could perhaps move on and start doing things for television. If you're doing television, you could perhaps branch off and move into the radio sphere. So there's many different things within the ecosystem. You just have to be willing to look for these things and different opportunities as well.
Yes, I'm so glad you touched on the other, because like everybody see music, and the one thing that they want to be is the rapper. They want to be the performer, or they want to be the beat maker. But nobody thinks about the stagehand. Nobody thinks about the people that works the lights so that that artist can be seen. Nobody thinks about the people who work behind the stage. They are the ones that make the artist look extravagant as they are, because without them, all we doing is listening to an artist sing or rap or perform. That's all we're doing. But then stage hands, they're very, very important. And I just had that conversation with my son. And when we understand that these small roles that you don't see play a major part of the story, I believe the world will be a lot better place. It'll be so much better. And I know you know that because you speak about resilience and the power of unity in your songs. What other advice would you give to the younger generation striving to overcome economic hardships in South Africa?
Well, resilience is definitely one thing. The next thing that I would look at is you have to think outside of the box. The traditional days of trying to get a traditional office job and trying to get that a 9 to 5, it's almost gone. I mean, as I was saying, the heights of the lengths of unemployment in South Africa are quite extreme. We're looking at almost a 50% rate of unemployment. And so to get one of those office jobs is extremely difficult. There's thousands of people waiting for that position. So you've got to think outside of the box. You have to think of use your entrepreneurial spirit. As I was saying, within music, there's so many different levels and realms that you could work within. But that's not in music only. Within any a business, there's many different levels you can work in. So, for example, if you look at telecommunications companies, you could perhaps approach them and say, "Look, I specialize in social media. I could do your social media presence, and you could help them with that." Or you could say, look, I produce T-shirts and I produce cups and shirts. Let me do your merchandising, and you could assist the companies with that. There's also non-profit organizations. You could go through that route where you're not really working for yourself, but you're working for others, and within their trust, you'll always be looked after, because something so pure always finds its way to be looked after. So don't worry about funding. You'll always find funding if you're working for others. There's so many different ways to go about it. As I was saying, you just have to think outside of the box. And especially now when you're looking at the world of AI, there's so many different opportunities that you could use in the digital realm as well to capitalize on all of these things. So I would really go and educate myself on all of these different avenues that you could go through. Yesterday, I was actually reading about a girl that uses AI to create little stickers that she sells on these graphic design websites where you buy packages to create all of your little different edits, such as what we have showing on the screen right now. So she
Right.
creates these things using AI and then she sells them on the websites, creating herself a lovely income. So
Oh,
you've got to think
wow.
outside the box and see how you can use these things. And you could find a great way to supplement an income, perhaps even better than a job that you could get in an office. You never know.
That's real. That's true. Especially AI. AI has opened up so many great opportunities for people. There's so many people who are taking care of their business and don't have to worry about I'm not going to make a paycheck this week. So that's great. AI has opened up a lot of opportunity. If y'all don't know anything about it, go check it out because a lot of these companies have what they call AI package resellers. Means they make the AI products for you. All you got to do is throw a logo on it and sell it to other people. So definitely think out the box. I like that. I like that. Now we want to step onto the world scene real quick. Now everybody know it daily. It's getting hotter and it's getting hotter. Whether it be the political atmosphere, whether it's the economic atmosphere, or whether it's just the world's atmosphere, the Earth's atmosphere. Now, the climate change has disproportionately affected so many vulnerable communities around the world. Now, how can artists like yourself use your platform to amplify these voices and advocate for environmental justice?
Well, I always tell people that music is such a powerful tool for the simple reason that a political party their appeal is only suited to their supporters, whereas music is on a much broader spectrum. You have different races, creeds, genders that support your music. So I would say putting the message of global warming and putting a message of all issues that are affecting the world right now into your music is one of the most crucial ways of getting the message out there, because once it's in somebody's mind that there's this issue, people start to question and start saying, what are we going to do to find a solution for this? So I would always encourage artists to have a social angle to their music, especially if we're talking about environmental changes, extinction of animals, global warming. I know in South Africa we had a crisis where they were hunting the black rhino almost to extinction. And thankfully for large artists doing promotions and shows and many people speaking about it, it became such a known situation that they've been put into a sanctuary and they're now starting to repopulate them. So I would say that putting it out there for the people from the artists is one of the most important and crucial steps, because everybody listens to artists, but not everybody is going to listen to the political side of things, and not everybody is going to be listening to CNN. Everybody questions those mediums. So artists have to use their power of influence for good, and try and focus it on environmental factors and not just monetary gain.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole purpose of even having a voice. You have a voice to actually voice your opinions and make the world a better place. And your music emphasizes harmony and connection. Now, what role do you believe cultural heritage and indigenous knowledge can play in combating the global climate crisis?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at indigenous knowledge and global crisis, so on, you must understand that indigenous knowledge was made for the benefit of nature. Everything that was done during those days was done in a way to keep balance. So there were certain things that you could hunt or you couldn't hunt because you wanted to maintain this species, or you wanted to maintain this bloodline. There were certain things that you would farm and eat in certain ways or in certain seasons, because this is the best time and way to do it, and certain things that you wouldn't want to put into the land because you knew that it was leaching away from the land. So it was very sensitive to the environment. So if I would take something away, if I had to choose only one thing, it would be, as I was saying, that the knowledge that we're not alone on this earth. As we take from this earth, we have to give back to it. We have to also sow back into the land so that it can sow into us. Indigenous knowledge was very crucial in teaching these aspects. And so I think the world has to really embrace those things. If you look at even in America, the Native American culture, they were very sensitive to their surroundings. Everything was not wasted. They would use every single part of the animal. They would use every single part of the corn. Everything was done with caring and love, knowing that we do not waste because it's a gift to be given. So it's something that I would love us to implement again. But we're saying that we're living in a world that's so fast paced and become so modernized, and everything is on a now type of thing. People need everything right now. It's very hard to see them becoming sensitive for the environment. I mean, even when you try and move away from old gasoline cars and go to lithium batteries, the damage that you're doing mining for the batteries for these vehicles really outweighs the damage that you were doing with the gasoline cars. So we really have to look at what we're doing to our surroundings before we move to something that's convenient.
Yo, that's beautiful. I'm glad you said that we're not here alone. We are not on this planet by ourselves. It's not just humans. And one movie that I love that explains that, Lion King, Circle of Life. You know, when you disrupt that circle of life, even in nature, nature resets itself because it wasn't supposed to be disrupted. The disruption was Scar. Now, we just watched Mufasa last night. And when you said that we're not on this earth by ourselves, my wife asked me something that happened in that movie. Like, how do these animals know about it? I'm like, wait, they are the earth. We used to be the earth. They are the earth. They live according to the earth, to nature. This is why they don't have to worry about climate change. They know where to go when it gets hot, and they know where to go when it gets cold. They're going to be good. We're the ones that's in danger. And we are messing it up for them. But since they work with Mother Earth is going to protect them. Mother Earth ain't going to protect the people who are working against them, and that's when the climate change has been doing so much damage to us. And like you said, if these artists aren't using that voice to bring out this information that our indigenous ancestors had established from the gate, then we are going to be stuck doing the same thing over and over. It's going to get worse and worse, and we're not going to be able to survive it. So thank you for even touching on the rest. Because when people talk about the world, they talk about humans. They don't talk about the animals. They don't talk about the plants. They don't talk about the ecosystems that make this earth a planet to live on and to live on for all of us.
Yeah, very true. I mean, when you were saying that, it just made me think about the impact that the tsunamis have on coastal cities, and one of the main reasons for that is because of how far back the humans have pushed the ocean, and so every
Yep.
now and then the ocean will reclaim its land, and as you said, Mother Nature will reset herself, and if she has to get extremely hot for it to get right again, that's what happens, and so we have to be mindful about what we're doing so that when a reset happens, it's not a brutal reset where we're losing millions of people and millions of lives. We have to be mindful of, as we were just saying, we're not alone on this earth. We're all in this together. Everything plays its part.
Exactly. And since Mother Earth is going to protect animal rights because they live with Mother Earth, we need to start looking at how we can protect our human rights by going back to live with Mother Earth. And it seems like we can't even respect each other. Like, look at the Middle East. It continues to face severe political unrest and human rights challenges. So how do you think that the arts can shed light on these issues and foster a sense of global solidarity?
Well, again, as I say, artists have a voice, and this voice is something that needs to be utilized in order to share the message of global solidarity. But also, this has to be a voice that's culturally sensitive. I feel that it has to, I would like the voice to be coming from the Middle East and come into the world because they understand their culture. It's very strange when people from other regions of the world try and direct something that's happening in another place. And what springs to mind was a song about I think it goes, there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas. I forget who wrote the song, but that's one of the main lyrics in the song. Well, one of the first things is that there isn't snow in Africa because Africa is warm. It's in the southern region, so it doesn't snow in Christmas. That wouldn't make sense. Um, so very bad songwriting with that, firstly. And secondly, it was demeaning. It was demeaning to the African people. And the man who had written the song obviously was not trying to insult anybody. He was actually trying to bring attention to a situation that was happening in Africa during that period. But the way that it was done was completely insensitive. And so hence why I say I would love somebody who's culturally sensitive to the region of the Middle East then to speak about it, because they would know how to speak about it. They would speak about it in the right way, portray it in the right way, and then we would get the message correctly. Because when it comes from a voice that doesn't understand that region, then I feel that you're not getting a true reflection of what's going on.
That's real. That's real. And I'm Legacy, you mentioned something that is a very is fact. And I have actually seen an artist from Palestine in Gaza make a video and make a music video to a song that he wrote about the war. And it was so powerful. And it wasn't just the lyrics, it was the visuals. Like, I don't care who you are, when you watch this video, when you see what is actually going on in Gaza, you're going to want to say stop, unless you're just an evil person that just wants destruction, because that's what's going on over there. Total, utter destruction. And you're right, the artists that are out there, we need this. I'm going to start. Thank you for giving me that mission. I'm going to start amplifying those voices from Palestine, those ones that's making music, because I've seen it. I'm like, I want to put this on the radio. I just didn't know, you know what? And I don't care about how the backlash. I don't care about backlash, because right now the possible backlash is that Palestine fiasco goes all over the world, like they've been trying to do. And we need to be able to stop it where it's at right now with Palestine before it stretches everywhere. So you're definitely right. They definitely got to get into the fact of putting those voices out there so that they can be heard. So with that being said, and given your international reach, how would you use your platform to advocate for these suffering under oppressive regimes and supports call for freedom and dignity?
Well, doing interviews as we're doing right now is one of the methods that I've been utilizing. Also speaking about the hardships that people have been going through within my music. I'm using the same approach as Bob Marley did. When the music hits them, feel no pain. So I'm going to use the music to lick them down. That's going to be the plan right there. As well, I'm not a man of war, and so it's not to wage war against any side, whether I believe they're right or they're wrong, but it's more to create unity and to bring togetherness and to bring healing. Because I feel that in the world there's already enough war. I mean, you're talking about Ukraine, there's Palestine, Congo. There's so many wars and so many brutal things happening throughout the world. So we should approach things more with an open heart, with the message of love, with the message of healing, a message of unity, and try and change this message of war. When people look for a division for long enough within each other, you're gonna find it. You're gonna find a way to stand against each other. So now we have to start looking for ways to stand together with each other, and we're gonna find ways, and we must stand together.
Hey everyone! Ever since I switched to the CMOS Glow Bundle from Southside Beauty Care, my skin has never felt more nourished and radiant. This combo of CMOS gel and whipped body butter hydrates and rejuvenates from the inside out. It's perfect for anyone struggling with dry skin and looking for that all-natural glowing boost. Check it out and give your skin the attention it deserves.
I'm glad you said it with peace. You said it with peace. That brings two situations to my mind. And that's the first situation is when Bob Marley brought those two politicians together in order to bring some kind of unity to Jamaica. That right there alone, he did that peacefully. He did that with music during a time when people were getting killed, executed, and everything. He was able to bring not a sudden stop, but he was able to start that stop by bringing those two politicians together peacefully. The second incident that brings to my mind is when Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. Never once did Moses do anything violent. He went to Pharaoh peacefully. Pharaoh was the violent one. Moses went to him again peacefully. Pharaoh was violent. God was like, you're not going to keep, and God did it where it didn't harm people until the very end. locusts, frogs, stuff like that, mosquitoes and stuff like that. You didn't pretty much, you wasn't dying from it. You was very uncomfortable. God made you very uncomfortable. So that goes to show you, right, that there's very peaceful ways to bring an end to violence. And I'm glad you said that, because when you were saying that, those two popped into, that's why I didn't even have those planned. So your message is very, very clear on that. And with that being said, what main message do you want the world to hear today when it comes to the political, economic, to the whole atmosphere of the world that we're living in right now? What do you have to say to them?
Well, you know, my first thing, and the first, it would be a question is, when is enough enough? You know, when is enough enough? When is it enough war? When do you have enough money? When do you have enough land? When have you got enough oil? When is enough enough? Have you not taken enough? Is there still more that needs to be taken? Because I feel that whenever things have been taken, too many people have lost lives. Too many people have lost ways of living and providing for their family. So we have to decide when is enough enough, and we have to stand together as humans on this earth. There's so many divisions within us, and especially in Africa, the Afrophobia is also quite a big issue. And for me, it's quite a surprising issue because it's respecting and fighting for borders that were not placed here by us. We did not divide this land. We did not make South Africa, South Africa, Botswana. We didn't place all that order. We all live together as one, peaceful in harmony. It's as if going to the United States and putting borders between all of the states, and New York wants to go to war with New Jersey because it's New Jersey. It doesn't make sense. So we have to find love for each other. We have to realize that we all have to live on this earth together. And the sooner that we can find a peaceful way to live on this earth together, a way that brings benefits to each other, not taking from each other, but actually giving to each other, then we will find a better way for us all to coexist in this world.
Yes, sir. We definitely will, man. And it's always good hearing that from an artist with your caliber, because you got I love Cardi B as a person, love her as a person, but when she started talking about politics, it was like, come on, Cardi, we need you to stop. But hearing it from you after listening to your music, it's based in concrete fact. It's based in concrete, not just wild emotion, but focused emotion, focused planning, focused aiming. And I just want to say, man, that's why I continue to do these interviews with you. Your content is so uplifting. After doing years of gangster rap and such destructive music, it is so refreshing. It's so upbuilding. I feel like I'm being reconstructed, listening to your music, talking to you on these interviews, and I'm at loss for words. I keep going over.
You know, it means a lot to me. Myself, I enjoy doing interviews with you because it's more than an interview. We're having a brilliant conversation, conversations that need to be heard, something that's giving more to people than just music. We're speaking about things that affect all of us. And so I really enjoy doing interviews with you, and not only doing interviews with you, but even just going and reviewing the other interviews you've done with many other people, because you've always got something important, something special to say. And I implore everyone that's watching this who gets to hear this that they should go and go through the archives and just see all of the stuff that you got, because you can do a whole lot of learning from there as well. So I want to say thank you to you for creating a platform that's giving back to everyone, not only to me, not only to reggae music, not only to musicians, but to the world, because what you're doing now is a global thing.
I want to say thank you for that. I needed that, and I received that because boy, I needed it. But yes, it is wonderful every time to get on here. And do you want to? Can you please drop us some more knowledge right before we leave out of here? Just drop us some more anything, bits of knowledge that just come to your head.
Well, you know, when I always leave an interview, I always like to leave a little bit of motivation for the young people out there, and it's always the same little bit of motivation. Is to say, this life that we live in, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. Marathon, you need stamina. It's not a quick race. And with that also comes your resilience. Do not give up. You cannot win a race if you stop halfway. Keep on pushing forward. And at the best of times, you may be running alone. You may be in the fog and you can't see anybody around you, and you're wondering, what am I doing here? You just have to keep your head down. You just have to keep pushing forward. Those are the times that are meant to test you. It wants to take you out of the race. Do not leave the race because the finish line could be right around the corner. You don't know. Just keep on pushing forward. And secondly, if you're sitting at home and you're wondering what should I do, I got this idea. I want to maybe work on AI, or I want to start writing music. Whatever you want to do, I implore you to start doing it today. Look around you. If you want to get onto the AI, use your cell phone, use the internet, use whatever you can to educate
Yes.
yourself. If you want to start writing music, pick up your pen, your paper, start writing music. If you don't have production, write on other people's music just so you can get a feel for writing. Start doing whatever you need to do for whatever you want to do now, so that when the opportunity comes for you to do it for real, you're so prepared, you conquer the mountain without trying.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. That is edification right there. Y'all need to take them words, ingest them, and then regurgitate it back onto the world. I love it. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anything, any news that you want to give us?
So quick shout out, Rough Cut Studio in the building right over here. Big up themselves. The whole management team behind me. Shout out to you. The whole production team that worked with me on the album. I want to give them also a big shout out. What an honor and a privilege to work with such talented individuals. It was a blessing. Humbled and honored. Shout out to Tough Gong International, Content Connect Africa, my publishers, Gallo Music. Man, shout out to everybody who's helped to make this journey possible. All of the people that have supported me along these ways, all of the communities that have supported me. I want to say thank you to you, because it's without you, where would I be? I wouldn't exist. So thank you to all the communities that stood behind me. And of course, thank you to you again for the platform, and always being willing to share, happy and willing to share the platform with me. I'm really appreciative of that. There's not many people with such a beautiful heart, so thank you as well. And also shout out Miss E, shout out Mrs. E. I don't want to forget. She's also got that beautiful heart. Shout out.
Yeah, I definitely make sure I pass along to her. And there you have it, family. A deep dive into the mind and mission of Don Dada, a true voice for the people. Whether he's addressing the struggles at home, in South Africa, or shining a light on global injustices, or lifting us with his music. His words remind us that we all have a role to play in shaping a more just and unified world. Through the rhythms of reggae and power of hip hop, Don Dada inspires us to rise up, give thanks for our blessings, and cherish our memories. Thank you, Don Dada, for sharing your time, your vision, and your heart with us today. To all our listeners, don't forget to stream The Heart and the Mind, available now on all major platforms. And join the movement. This isn't just music, it's a call to action. Until next time, stay tuned to Boss Radio for more powerful voices and unstoppable vibes. Keep fighting, keep loving, keep living for a better tomorrow. We out. Peace and blessings. Yes, sir.
And I just want to say, during this festive season, everybody travel, drive safe, man. I know a lot of hecticness is going on these roads, so be safe and enjoy. Much love.
Viva Mandela, Amandla awethu, Orlando Soweto, Bayethe Madiba, Viva Mandela.
1918, July, Transkei birthed the king. All hail the chief. Wake the giant from his sleep. The Black Pimpernelli, Ducky D's on the daily. That was the early 60s. Freedom fighter, brought to break the levee of a broken system. Now